Good whatever time of the day it is, everyone. My name is Miser Luke, and welcome to the 39th Battle of the Promethean Directive. Today we have an offensive by the Auronean Federation, including the 12th Rocket Artillery Platoon, the 8th Platoon Dagger, and the 3rd Platoon something or another. Let me pull up the sheet so I get that actually. 3rd Platoon Broquet, or Brocket, I don't know. 3rd Platoon being led by 1st Lieutenant Erickson, 8th by Captain Barrett, and 12th Rocket by Major D. Atacama. Up against them are Divini Arcana Ordinims, Iter per Lutum 4, which, if I can find it, I don't even know who that's led by. Someone. Probably someone important. Iter per Lutum 4, led by Arcanist Marcus Jr., which is down in that direction. Also joined with a surprise appearance coming in from the complete other side of the map is a Corex drone swarm, that being Lepidopterine, consisting of 50 of these cute little Kayam Gammas, which are just small incendiary missile spammers. With all that said, I think the Auronians definitely have the material advantage in this. The Corex have the numbers advantage as well as the individual size advantage. But who will know what will happen? I think these guys largely use plasma, even if it may be decoed to look otherwise, which is not the best against their targets, but we'll see how they do. Unpausing now. And checking the VC to see if anyone yelled at me. They have not. Yes, the Auronean force is quite large. It's going slow right now, but I think the battle will speed up eventually. I did put the Auronians on the player side so that they have fleet colors. I'll try to do my best with despawning them as they get disabled, but I can offer no guarantees. Here we can see the rocket artillery platoon is probably going to have the most of the firepower out of the Auronian side. Certainly against stone. I suspect these missiles will do a lot of damage. I wonder if these are intentional, like delayed guidance to do top attack. Hopefully they're not unguided, otherwise that would be an issue. But they definitely look really cool so far. Let's tag along with one of them. They might also just be going for the Kayam Gammas. Nope, looks like a delayed guidance top attack. Pretty clean decoration work, looks like. Not sure exactly what. May have been a retextured cram barrel at the front going into a mimic sphere. Might also be a retextured one of the barrel mantlets. I'm not certain what gives it that slight curve. Same thing at the back. This is not Coin. This is the Auronians. Oh, okay, never mind. Yep, it was done by Coin. Yep, he did well. Deco missile is definitely cool, but I do wish that I could tell what kind of guidance they had and what kind of payload. That man almost got hit for no good reason. As long as that thing is in range, it's going to take a lot of damage, I suspect, from the full salvo. Because these are some pretty long medium missiles, and there are a lot of them. And even if they do land early, I think they'll still manage to hit the legs. Looks like they've got enough steam, though. Right into the command center of this thing. Hopefully these missiles will show us that stone really is not that meta when you hit it with the proper ammunition types. That is one leg totally chunked away. Significant damage to the main torso, too. Looks like fire directors are falling off. More legs taking damage. Some of the decoration sticks falling off, too. Now, I think those missiles are running out of range, so unless the rocket trucks get closer, they won't be able to hit this guy. It is maintaining a legal just about 3 kilometers, though. But because it's backtracking and they're advancing, it means that their munitions aren't quite going to land. Quite a few drones have been downed. It'd be very hard for me to get a count on them. But the defenses, or the attacking force, sorry, of the Auroneans is taking down quite a few. The only unfortunate thing about having these guys on the player faction is that they might lose their AI and be on the map for a while, so I need to do a check at the end anyways. But as long as the attackers aren't set to attack salvage, it shouldn't be an issue regarding, like, the result of the battle itself, which they are not set to attack salvage. Although I guess it'll be pretty obvious if one of them stops firing. But so far, most of them are fairly intact. Obviously, there's been some damage. This guy in particular has attracted a lot of missiles, it seems. But he's still functional, even if he is very much on fire. Pretty cool decoration work on these two. Aperture's come a long way since the very first time I saw his custom campaign. Nowhere near as decoration intensive as some builds can be, but it definitely still looks good. Even if the probably intentional RTS kind of style leaves the colors very washed out. These guys just moving like a unit right now. Going for a, I think the easiest way to get a health check is to zoom out here. We've got one Guardian tank frag at 49. Or the Burkhardt and frag were both low health. So I'll scrap those.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
The enemy side, the Amica Terra is down to 84% and dropping pretty rapidly. I think those are cannon shells hitting it, not missiles. The missiles are mostly out of range, but I could be wrong. Or no, those are probably plasmas actually hitting it. I think those are too fast for APS.
Yes. Yes.
The Guardian tank frag there was at below 50, so I'll scrap it. Meanwhile, there's a damaged Kayam Gamma, another damaged Kayam Gamma, one that's already going to be at scrapping health. If I zoom out here, we can see this one has lost a Kayam Gamma, this one has lost 3, still has all 5, 1 is damaged, lost 1, lost 1, 1 is damaged. So the swarm is probably down to about 40 Kayam Gammas, so they've lost about 20% of their force. For what it's worth. Someone just Steam messaged me. Yes, I did accidentally despawn a tank. I will give it back to you if you win the battle, which is seeming likely. But at this point, I'm not going to respawn that. But yes, that was my bad. I clicked and didn't see it exactly. Just a reminder, I guess, then, that you should be submitting your fleet colors to Anemone to get included on the maps. That way I don't need to worry about respawning anyone on player. Because I really want to have as few battles as possible where units look like this and are just pure white. Because this would look so much worse if these guys here were all just plain white. But yeah, I think I'm missing colors for, or Anemone's missing colors for Maricine, Corax, for these guys. I don't know if Cordic has colors. I know Light of Sanctified has theirs in. Trying to remember who all we've had as white or player faction. They were put in Dow colors. I don't know if Corax sent theirs in, but I don't think they have. That's why I just spawned them with Dow colors. But if Corax have put their colors in, then that was my bad. I should have spawned everyone on Corax. Because Dow doesn't need colors. Okay, zooming back out, we'll see that the Amicatera is at 74%, so up slightly from where it was last time. I wonder if the tanks are mostly focusing on aircraft or what exactly. This is the annoying thing about when units are set to keep a very long max range, that you just get a chase battle, where any damaged units just get left behind and are unable to contribute. Because now those guys are at like 5-6 kilometers maybe from the enemy, which just means they can't do anything. Is this a frag pole? It is a frag pole. It is a missing frag pole, but a frag pole nonetheless. This guy here has lost another leg entirely and has the rest somewhat damaged. Still has the pack operational, but internals are getting chunked into slowly. I feel like the way to beat Dow is to use large vehicles that are not EMP susceptible, so the packs don't one-tap you. Or at least medium vehicles. And then to use stuff that can hit slow or stationary targets and do a lot of damage against low armor count stuff, so HE or frag. Decently low velocity probably works. High payload. Again with the detection underneath the vehicle. Pretty effective, I guess. I see you've got direct venting to the outside too for exhaust. Wheelchair mech is continuing to climb up the mountain though. It'd be really cool if you could adjust the animation so that it's a little bit more... I don't know exactly what code you've got running, but it'd be really cool if you could make it live update to your velocity, which you might well be doing. It kind of looks like that. And that you also consider the rate of change of angle of your vehicle, yaw, so that way you can make the two sides move differently. Which I don't know if you are, but I would think that those two together could get pretty near to exact matching of the terrain, which it doesn't quite always manage. It slips quite a bit. Just aesthetically speaking, anyways. I know it doesn't obviously match or actually walk on the terrain with those wheels there, but... Let's see, have you done your due diligence in making the gears actually mesh? I think so. No. Boo! They clip. Not spin at the right speeds, SMH. You just gotta divide by the number of teeth on each one to get the ratio of speeds. I expected better deco work, come on guys. Okay, returning to the rest of the battle, which is really just the tanks firing wildly at aircraft. Let's see if I can... I don't think I'm going to find any projectile going the other way. But that did get me closer. We can see a massive kind of pile-up of tanks here, but they're all still moving that way. Let me go to the map and try to be more diligent about despawning the right units, if I do clean up.
Yes.
This one here is at like 13%. Yeah, that one's definitely out. These rocket trucks, I think, are just back here because they aren't able to pursue properly. A few Corex drones are down, but I'll leave those to be decided with themselves.
Yes. Yes.
Let me warp over to you, see what's up with this guy. Oh, this is just a rocket truck. Firing away, but I don't know if those are gonna successfully go for the drones or if they'll go for the other target that's out of range. And I'll try and get a count on the Corex drones too. So there's still 10 fleets of them, which is good for numbers. That one's got 4, just down to 1 on that guy. So 8, 13, 18, 23, 27, 30, 35. So 39 right now with 2 damaged. So not many less than the last time I checked. Or at least last time I estimated. Eventually these tanks will take out that walker, and then it'll kind of just be an anti-aircraft battle, and I don't know how well their plasmas will do at that. Because the drones are kind of keeping their distance, so they're going to lose accuracy for that reason. But there's also so many tanks that they'll eventually have to damage them. Because clearly they've shown that they can shoot down aircraft if only they have the will to do so. Let's see if I can flip this guy back over without just damaging it. I think I'm just going to damage it. Not as easily flipped over as the other one, I guess. Lovely bit of burning on these heavy tanks here. And quite the dog pile in here, but I don't think anyone's taken too much damage. This guy's probably lost a track module because of it. But it's also possible that's just fire. And these guys may have been like partially EMP disabled too, given that they're not aiming their cannons, unless they're just aiming something that's behind a hill. Yeah, okay. This thing is at 70%, but it is beyond engagement for most of these guys, unfortunately. Eventually they'll manage to climb the hill and get to him, but that'll be a while away. Okay, for flipping, I'll try that out. So it will obliterate. Maybe that was too much damage, we'll see. Now where was that flipped tank? It'll be really funny if this thing just like launched it to space. Okay. You were right. Good to know. Okay. I now have the ability to flip tanks. Although this guy may also be AI dead anyways, I don't really know. Nope, he's not good. Wait, maybe. The lights are cool, but they make it hard to see when stuff is actually doing a muzzle flash or not. One of these is a 55 if I can find it. This one here. And it's hard to tell which of these still have AIs or not. This one? Okay, he's got an AI. There's another drone that's damaged over there, I believe. Because the player blueprints would never say too damaged. Meanwhile, the Amicatera shopping cart is at 70. Did I? Okay, good. I was worried I was going to carry a tank with me or something. The chains on these are designed. These are walkers that can carry airships or large resource containers and stuff like that. So they've got some kind of magic chains that go up into the air behind them for that purpose. But right now, these have been damaged. Yeah, a little bit boring fight. It runs away because it's been set to 3 kilometers range, and it's darned if it's not going to do that. And I wish there was a way to just not get stuff to do that. I mean, I guess there may be a way to remove retreating in the AI settings, but that's also less of an effective thing to do if you really do want that long range, which the packs certainly do. But in this case, because of the hill terrain and stuff, it's really annoying. Okay, I'll kill its movement. Actually, right, it is say I'm in you. Movement is kill. Now, eventually, these guys will close to sufficient range to attack it, assuming they can make it up this hill. Which they've already started. We'll see if they can finish that. Or if they decide on other targets. Nope, they're still making it over. Ah, tank jump scare. Maybe? No. Wait. It did hit, or it did blow up, but it didn't do any damage. Interesting. Someone lost a chunk of armor. Probably one of these two fellas. Yeah, who have decided to get very close to one another. Uh-oh, some of the rocket artillery is burning. Now that a lot of the big vehicles have moved pretty far away, I think some of these guys are attracting missiles now. Doesn't help that they have a big target on their back. Even if all the missiles manage to avoid hitting the target. Yeah, this guy here is definitely kill. Looks like less than 30% health. Yeah, here was his missile launcher. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 block missiles. Those would definitely do a lot of damage, as we saw at the start of the battle. Too bad they're all pretty much now out of range of the Amicatera. This guy here, still within survivable health, but clearly he can't do too much. Now down to 66 on the Amicatera. Yep, it is stationary as I told it to be, but I assume it could still do that if it wanted to. The deepest damage so far is still quite a few layers of stone away from anything important, which is how these guys are designed. I suspect most of the time Dow designs will die from just being chunked away down to 55. Unless people really deploy like some kind of APHE or AP frag. I don't know how well heat would do against stone. I know Hesh probably wouldn't do well because it has a low armor count. But heat could probably do decent. I really don't use heat myself because I don't like the mechanic of it. Pew. Ooh. I think Plasma just perfectly sniped that leg there. Very well done to Aperture's tanks. Down to 58%, very soon gonna scrap. Especially if they score another critical hit like knocking a leg off. I wonder what range these tanks want to be at, or if they just close indefinitely. They at least want to get within, let's see, within 700. We'll see, I guess, if they destroy it before they ever come to a stop. I think around 600 to 1500 is typical that I use for like my airships for engagement range. But I know most people who really optimize tend to go for like 2 or 3 kilometers at a minimum, usually longer. Finally 2 damaged. And yet the tanks continue their ineffable advance. Within 300 meters? These things really like to close, goodness. What do you have the range set to, Aperture? Ram? I think they're finally turning to circle now that they're within 200 meters. Not that that's doing well for them collision-wise. But yikes. I'll pause let this thing despawn. Actually, I'll just kill it. Save my frame rate. Now we'll see if these guys can extricate themselves from their hug and then go off to fight all the drones to get a kind of a tactical lay of the land. The drones have not moved very far from the original start, but most of the tanks are strung out in a huge formation out that way. The drones are still on all 10 squadrons are operational. Can I undo this selection? I don't think so. That one's down 1, full. That one's down 3, down 1.5, down 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there are still 35, if my count is correct. Kayam Gam is operational. But I don't think the tanks can lose this just because there's so many of them left. And while Plasma's not optimal, it's better than most APS when it comes to fighting aircraft. And the tank's tendency to close to literal point-blank range will do them well against aircraft, I think. As long as they've got decent elevation. Which I don't know much about. Yikes. Let me go to E-menu, see if there's anyone that needs despawned. This one does. A couple of the Guardians are close, but everyone else is still good. I feel like collisions and stuff like that are doing more damage to the Auronean tanks than the actual enemies. Admittedly, though, fire is burning a lot of them down. And the pack probably killed a few, but its EMP really wasn't all that effective. Like, I'm sure there are some tanks that got AI killed, but I haven't seen any that are obviously so. Like, this one might be. I'll see if I can find an AI that's very close. I don't know if there's a better way of doing this. Yeah, this one here is probably AI killed. I guess we can open the guts to see. Yep, nothing left in there but an engine. This guy here is now below 55, but still functional impressively. It's lost all of one side, but the pack or the plasma's at least trying to fight, even if it can't. But since it's below despawn health, I'll clean it off the map.
Yes.
This one here is turretless, but still above 50, so it can at least decoy. Here we can see some of the Corax missiles going for a target. Gone. I don't know if this is a bug, or if it's a new bug, or a typical bug of the missile launch got destroyed, which would mean another Corax drone got shot down anyways. Most of the tanks have successfully made it back over the hill. Although some have taken damage to collisions, or in this case fire, or maybe a bit of both. We can try and get a drone count here. So 1 has been lost, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15 still, so no new ones have been shot down since I last checked. Yeah, you could add rubber bumpers to reduce collision damage. You still might get some weird flipping stuff, but that would help. Oh, is that the damage type at the top right? Is that? Oh, that is. Yeah, that is labeled as collision. Goodness. I would believe it. Yeah, I don't think your ground force aperture is going to lose more than half. I'll need to count all the units left once the battle is done. Because so much of your damage was due to collision, I'll probably give you some of those back. Just because the collision's just so silly. I really wish FD did better at that. But I don't know if there's a solution that isn't super computationally expensive. Aside from just using less craft, but that's not always as fun. I will definitely call the battle in 14 minutes because I need to go to bed. But I think we can stand to do the escort mission battles next turn. So you can just move your forces away as if you had done... Or Raycast will tell you what to do with those. I think you can just leave them there, and he'll take care of them. But we'll probably do those battles next. I'll figure out the nukes stuff probably tomorrow during my breaks at work. At least those that can be decided off battle. I think this guy here is dead. This one too. These are some atlases. They really got in a bad place once the main force ran off. This one's definitely dead too. There's still a ton of tanks left. Yeah, if I need to call the battle early, I'll just kind of estimate based on what damage is looking like so far for what losses each side should take. Or I may just call it a standstill and say both sides withdrew. To be decided, I guess. Defensive freehold... I'll probably run on my computer tomorrow before I run the turn. May or may not stream it. But I'll definitely simulate it because you do have defenses to use. Yeah, turnover will be tomorrow. Honestly, probably going to start around 9 p.m. and finish around 10 or 11. For minor nuke battles, I'm probably not going to even video those. It's just not worth the time and effort. What is the Cordic battle? For Port Postal, yeah, you can update it yourself. No, turn should happen tomorrow. I don't want to delay anything by more than one day. 9 p.m. of Eastern. It'll be 22 hours from now. Going for... Oh, one drone just got zapped. You can tell because the fleet icon moved. So there are 2 destroyed, 3 destroyed, 4 destroyed, 7 destroyed, 9 killed, 11 killed, 15 killed, 17 killed, so just 17. So we've only lost 2 more drones in the last 10 minutes probably. I don't know what was hitting them, but they have not been dying very quickly. This guy is burning down pretty quickly. We'll probably soon be scrapping this guy. As it's at 55, yeah. One on 58, one on 57. That guy on 63. Another HIMARS. That's down to 9%. I think all the HIMARS are out of the fight at this point. They really got mauled once they were left behind. And the drones had their way with them once they no longer targeted the main battle tanks. So I assume what that means is that the drones are set to target small vehicles, but the missiles go for the big ones. So they stayed over here because the small vehicles are over here. Or at least the ones that had a high glass cannon value, which is the Atlases. But the missiles just went for whatever was close and ideally large. We can see one drone just got killed right there. Will despawn within 10 seconds anyways. Oop, another one got killed too. So that is at least 4 drones that have been killed recently. So they are definitely losing, but so are some of the tanks getting destroyed. Is it worth it for me to have to manually scrap stuff in return for fleet colors? Maybe. Honestly, I don't know. But I really don't want to battle with all white vehicles, so that's what we've got. Yawning's typically indicative of being tired, but it can be other things. I have heard that yawning is in some ways a cooling mechanism for your brain. So if you, if your body decides for some reason that your brain needs more air cooling, it'll tell you to yawn. This guy has been wrecked. Incendiary is fairly brutal against these tanks, kind of more than I would have expected. But they may not have like properly or thoroughly protected fuel, or it could just be not very thick armor. A few meters metal. Got rid of all the internals. I mean, really just 2 fuel tanks, so I don't think there's anything that's stimulating it in that regard. I think the missiles carry a lot of fuel with them, and they'll set the outsides on fire and eventually burn them down. The only fire stuff I've played with myself is when I put a proper flamethrower on Flammenwerfer and Heliofire, my 2 airships that have been flamethrower units since 4 years before flame was added. But I just had to use 200mm HE spam railguns, which worked fairly effective. A little bit better than the flamers sometimes. Yeah, Season 2 would be next summer. Similar timeline to this. May play with the end dates a little bit, because I'll be doing slightly different stuff for education on either end. I prefer to have discounts be very rare. So Stone got a discount, because otherwise it's not really a way to make it more powerful. Wood, same thing there. Most stuff, like, if you just, like, oh, I use lasers a bunch, can I get that cheaper? Probably not. Generally, for those you could do, like, a super weapon to get a single unit that can use a laser well beyond your power limit. Or, you can class a unit as a super weapon, and that can grant certain things for it. Like you might be able to exceed the 2 million cost limit, or you can have certain special scenarios about it, like it might have a range on the map where it can instantly zap fighter fleets or nuclear bomber fleets to save me from doing a bunch of useless battles if we know that it can kill them. Yeah, or it could have other stuff that has like off-map effects, like it could instantly bore through a mine and instantly kill mines on the map. Stuff like that. But yeah, vehicle discounts I prefer to keep to a minimum. Market trade rework, probably. I don't want to do the brute force solution of just giving people money if they trade. But yeah, the question is, how do you incentivize people to buy blueprints when people like making their own blueprints? Because this is a blueprint building game. Yeah, the stone reduction is only for... It's a special tech that was requested by Dow. Other people can request that as well if you want to try stone. I'm not going to do a favor mechanic. This is a... I don't like breaking the fourth wall whenever possible. Like, I will try very hard to make the canon events make sense in-game. And for the same reason, stuff like we're going to see a hopefully drastic decrease of nukes now there's an economic penalty. And I don't want that to just happen without a cause in-game. So I'm going to make an announcement when that change gets implemented that an international nuclear watchdog has reported that due to the number of nuclear weapons, there are serious environmental impacts to the Crucible. And many governments have taken note and pledged to reduce their usage of nuclear weapons in response. Like, I really want the canon to match the actual playstyle and stuff as much as possible. So stuff like favors and other stuff. Clean nukes as well. Both because, again, they're not really interesting in battles. And they're the same kind of semi-cheesy aspect. There might be less economic impact for deploying those. You'll be saved by the bell in 2 minutes. So whatever force are alive will still be alive and just retreated. But yeah, non-radioactive stuff will still get penalties that are economic. They'll just probably be less. But, I mean, any large amounts of ordnance going off, like imagine if the Halifax explosion, which is going to be the largest conventional explosion, I believe. Imagine if that was happening like several times a year. Like, yeah, sure, that's not going to be anywhere near like radioactive levels of effect, but that's going to cause huge ecological devastation because you're sending massive tidal waves whenever that happens. Like, Halifax was wiped out by, I don't think the blast, but by the flood of water that got sent in by that explosion. So think of, if you're nuking stuff on land, you're going to leave massive craters, tons of dust put into the air. If you're doing it at water, you're going to have small-scale, tidal waves or whatever, which are not going to be good for the local economy. So there can still be effects even with non-nuclear stuff on the broader environment. Checking in on the fleets for probably the last time. We'll call it after this. Actually, yeah, it's 11 now. Gonna freeze stuff, count everything up, and that'll be the end of this one. All surviving forces will consider to be escaped.
Yes.
I will probably let these escape at full health, because most of the ones that are still alive only took damage due to collisions. The ones that did get set on fire burned pretty quickly. And if we want to check, like, only a couple of these have minor burn damage right now. Most of them have probably never been hit by a missile. So these guys will escape on full health as recompense for the silly collision stuff. I will give you back the tank that I accidentally scrapped when it shouldn't have been at full health. You have not lost all the heavy tanks. There's still quite a few. Heavy. I think a heavy got lost over there. Maybe just 3 or 4 heavies, but there are some. I'll count those up, though, and get back to you all later. Thank you all for watching, everyone who's here live, and for those that have decided to sit through this once it gets uploaded to YouTube. Yeah, thanks, y'all. Have a good one.